What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spot Show Podcast, an independent wrestling podcast with a few pit stops along the way. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Jim Mint 10 Rebash, joined as always by the one-legged wonder, Mindy Mindrox. I'm tired.
Me too.
Long day. When we're doing a big record like this, it's always good to go to St. Louis until 4 a.m.
Right?
for a wrestling show.
It's the best thing to do ever.
Yeah. And going into the ghetto for White Castle is always a good idea.
That's your guys' decision.
That's true.
I was just along for the ride.
That's true. We had a good time though. Pro Wrestling Epic down in Granite City last night. Got to see some old friends. Got to make some new friends. It was a good time. Awkward silence.
Sorry, was I supposed to?
Little dead air never hurt anybody, I guess. Or
I guess not.
So, don't forget to check out MadBash Studios on Patreon. You can get the spot shows, you can get the paid shows, all kinds of bonus material there. So make sure you check that out. And just a reminder, this is the Spot Show Podcast. Each and every week we get together to talk about the wacky world of indie wrestling and everything in between. If you like what we're doing here, you can head on over to patreon.com/MadBash Studios and you can get this show early and ad-free. But that's not the only way you can support us. Go to madbashstudios.com. There you will find links to all our social media and you can follow us there. But I think since this is technically the April Fool's show, I think it's fitting we go back about 24 years and talk about, I think we both agree, our favorite WrestleMania, which is WrestleMania 17, Houston, Texas. Yes. So much good stuff on that show. It's
lots of good stuff.
Some stinkers. Definitely some stinkers.
Oh, there's definitely some stinkers.
Number one, I thought that the look of the building was awesome. The Astrodome looked great on that show.
Especially when you figure it was 24 years ago. They didn't have everything that they have now. They didn't have the camera or the computer graphics and stuff.
No.
Sorry, brain fart.
Yeah. You do have a way with the words, don't you?
Don't I? It's great.
I liked this Mania because it was the first one with, well, I guess only one with Paul Heyman on commentary.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say JR and Paulie were the commentators.
How good? Even go back to listen to their stuff in WCW. I always liked them as a team.
They did very well. They do very well as a team.
Mm-hmm. Paul knows just how to push JR's buttons, doesn't he?
Exactly. It's like my favorite part. I mean, no, I don't like people that push buttons and stir the pot. What am I talking about?
That's not you.
That's not me at all.
Oh my goodness. I think there were like 11 matches on this show, which that's almost Tony Khan territory nowadays.
But it was WrestleMania.
It was WrestleMania and every match had a story just about.
Right. I will forgive the 11 matches for the simple fact, one, it's WrestleMania. And when you figure even this year it's got 12 matches, they're not putting it so far they're not putting it all on
it's on
one show.
Yeah. It's over 2 nights. So it's like 5 or 6 matches a night.
Exactly.
This is a rare WrestleMania minute where every title was defended on this show.
6 of them.
Granted, they didn't have 40 championships like wrestling companies have nowadays.
Right.
But you had the WWF Championship, Intercontinental European Tag Team, Women's title, Hardcore title. So they covered everything on this show.
European title.
I thought I said European. Maybe not. Oh well, you covered it.
All right. So I actually went match by match and wrote down the matches, so we can talk about each match.
Okay, give me just a second because I want to get some particulars on this attendance, whatnot, which I probably could have prepared.
67,000.
67. 925. I got
925. I was 100 off. Give me a break.
You're not bad. Buy rate was 1,040,000. They were always up on their modern references because their tagline was "Houston, we have a problem" from a movie that was
About 10 years prior to that.
About 6 or 7 years before this.
Yeah, exactly. But it made sense.
Yeah. And can I say, I hate calling it the Reliant Astrodome. I mean, I'm a baseball kid. It's always going to be the Houston Astrodome to me.
The what?
What?
The Reliant?
Reliant was they had naming rights to the Astrodome at this point.
Oh.
It's like the Mercedes-Benz Superdome now.
Okay.
Which,
of course it is.
Poop. That's what I say.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I got to keep my mouth clean on this one. Okay. I'll save that for paid show.
Yeah, I'll save that for paid show. All right. Well, Benders, we'll just go match by match. Start off with a fun one. And this match may have had my favorite build to a match, which is Jericho versus William Regal for the Intercontinental Championship.
Reb, I got a question.
Yeah.
Rebash.
Rebash, yeah.
Rebash. Would you care for a spot of pee?
Was that the sign that made you love wrestling signs?
Kinda. It was up there.
Mm-hmm. And I think that what made that moment best is that Regal sells everything.
Oh, yeah, he does. His face when he takes a drink out of that cup. But I mean, come on, he kind of had it coming.
He was a little bit of a bully. He was the, as we know, the gentleman commissioner of the WWF at the time.
Well, I mean, he put Jericho in a match with right to censor, and that's terrible enough as it is. But then he put him in there in a handicap match with the Dudleys.
Tables match.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is back when we liked Jericho.
He wasn't out for blood.
No.
Not at all.
No. This is when we liked Jericho. So
right. This is when Jericho was still good.
We hadn't tired of Jericho
I have this. I have that on my notes. When he was good.
As opposed to Regal, who was always good.
Right.
What did you think of the match itself?
Like Regal's chest. It was hamburger.
Yeah, and
it was so red.
And you could feel like my shoulder hurt just watching what Regal did to Jericho.
Oh,
and with all that stuff he was doing there.
Oh, mine too. The mat work on that.
Oh.
For Jericho to be a cruiserweight, and yet for him to go with Regal on the mat the way he did.
I don't think Jericho was a cruiserweight. He was definitely a smaller heavyweight at best, but he wasn't as big as he is now.
He did flippy stuff.
Well, he did a moonsault. He did a lion salt, which he's always done, but
still, he ran around, jumped off of things.
Had the hair.
Yeah. Cruiserweight in my book.
Oh, well, he is, for my money, one of the greatest WCW Cruiserweight champions, so I won't horribly disagree with that.
Well, can I say that I do miss the days of when they would pick an appendage and just work the shit out of it? Mm-hmm. You're talking about the shoulder and just work it, destroy it. And then even like the little things, like at the end when Jericho goes to pin Regal and he starts to pin him with that arm, pulling the leg up, but then he like switches it because it's...
Even trying to do the lion tamer, he couldn't get him over because of the arm.
Right, exactly. I miss the days of selling like that.
Yes.
Where everything meant something.
Yes. Of course, that match ends. Jericho retained with the lion salt, which he still sold the shoulder after he hit the lion salt, too.
Oh, yeah, he did.
But that wasn't the last we'd see of Regal on this pay-per-view, but we'll get into that later.
Right.
Our buddy Ubangi probably enjoyed the part that I'm talking about. All right, I think the second match, Mindrox, I got to make sure I get the name right.
Right.
It was was that the APA and Taz against Right to Censor?
Sure was.
Oh, White Sox, Steven Richards.
I say it was Steven Richards in the corner and Jacqueline in the corner.
I think I'd take Jacqueline in a fight over Stevie. I'm sorry.
Me too. Me too. Can we just say how much I hated the right to censor entrance music?
Can you even call that music? It's just
I'm
just
not
the
sure
tone.
if you can or not.
And it was purposely played louder than anybody else's music.
Yeah, it was one of those where one eye's open
annoyance.
and one eye's open and you're kind of cringing at it.
Of course, right to censor in this match, it was Bull Buchanan, Val Venus, and the Good Father. Which I noticed we didn't get the Good Father at the Expo last year. We got Papa Shango, we got the Godfather. No right. Good Father.
That's okay. That was the character nobody liked.
Yeah. Can I take a second to point out how nervous I get watching anybody wrestle in white pants, like Val Venus did?
Why is that, Reb?
Well, as an accomplished fudgestress yourself, you can understand one bad ass bump and you're making fudge, and you can't hide it. That's Colonel Parker from the War Games match in 1994. The story goes that he may have soiled his white linens in that match.
Oh my! When Taz comes out, he just looks like a little angry midget. He said,
"You said it, not me."
I did say it, but he does. He just looks really annoyed.
I love Taz. I'm an ECW guy. He was one of my favorites, but he did look like an angry thumb in 2001 when he would come to the. And this is one of the last real hurrahs that Taz had in the ring before he focused on commentary. There was a few during the Alliance, during the Invasion angle, he would have some matches, but
he just looks like an angry short little man.
But man, he's threw a hell of a clothesline, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did.
Speaking of the finish,
poor Good Father. Poor Good Father.
And Bradshaw would get a head of steam going. We talk about Braun Breaker nowadays, how fast he is. Bradshaw wasn't necessarily fast, but when he did get a head of steam, it would be like an offensive lineman coming at you, trying to knock you over. And he would take some people's heads off with that friggin' clothesline of his. Still does.
No, I was going to say, still a clothesline makes Dan Hansen proud.
Mm-hmm. And Paulie yelling out "Yeehaw" when he did
it. I do have to say, though, I enjoy Paulie when, like, any of the guys that had been on ECW were coming in or come in these matches, because it's like, I know Taz very well. And
yeah, he was pointing out all the accolades. Like Raven, he mentioned he was a former champion. Taz, he was a former champion.
Yeah.
Because this was that awkward like transition period. WCW just got sold. ECW just closed down. So there was this influx of people coming in that they had to get over. Because not everybody watching WWF was watching ECW or WCW. There was a lot of us.
There was a lot of us, but
but there was some
also
outliers.
A lot that didn't.
Yeah.
Well, like ECW for me, I knew the basics, but I didn't know individual. I knew Raven was there, I knew Taz was there, but
I think
I didn't know how great they were on that. So,
well, that's where I love listening back to podcasts that celebrate the legacy of some of these. And I think my favorite is probably the Extreme F and Review podcast that our friends at the JTR Podcast Network do.
That's a lot of fun to listen to.
It is. I mean, they know their stuff. It's just silly enough. But
well, the guy knows his stuff pretty well. But
yeah, I make sure I put that on every Friday morning when it drops on Spotify or Audible. And yeah, so if you ever need to listen to it, they got some good stuff. They got the Jumping the Rail podcast. They got the Independent Wrestling Shootout. So they're friends of ours, and we encourage you to check them out. Also, I think they even have a Patreon. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure they do.
But anyway,
focus.
Yeah, I know.
We're getting off topic.
Yeah, we never do that though.
We don't on here.
No, just in general conversation we do. But
we do all the time.
All right,
Okay,
so
focus.
so the Acolytes and Taz win the six-man tag. Excuse me. And the third match, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what the third match was. I think you have a list.
I have a list, and it was the Hardcore Championship match.
Oh, of course you know this one because you're a Raven gal.
I know this one.
This
I love me some Raven. Although
there's a lot of fuckery in this match.
you know what though, Raven, his ECW stuff was a lot better. They watered him down a
Vince
lot.
didn't know what to do with Raven.
They watered him down.
Even
a lot.
WCW did better with Raven than Vince did.
Yeah. Although I love the shopping cart. How did I word it? I love the shopping cart of fun.
Yes, it was
with Frankie hanging out at the front of it, and a tree and a kitchen sink.
Yeah, there was a plant for some reason in the cart.
Yeah.
I like to think that this was an homage to New Jack.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
I think Raven just found a shopping cart back in the back of the building and just walked around finding random objects to throw in it to possibly use as weapons.
Yeah, because there wasn't anything in there that was like legit a weapon.
No, it was like a wet floor sign. I think I saw.
I think there was a no parking sign he might have pulled off of the wall somewhere.
Mm-hmm. But this is a case, Mindrox, of one of these things is not like the other because you got Raven defending his championship against the Big Show and Kane.
And they damn near took the power out for the entire WrestleMania, which is funnier than anything else.
Yeah. Kane almost ran Raven over with the golf cart.
Twice.
No,
Big Show ran it over. Who did Big Show?
No, Raven was driving. Big Show jumped in the back and was choking Raven, and they went off the
That's
the cart
when
path.
the power almost went out.
Mm-hmm. And then Kane and the referee came up from behind and almost ran over Raven.
Yeah, his poor leg.
How did you feel as a Raven fan when he got thrown through a plate glass window?
Wasn't happy.
Was that a more realistic looking room than what Tony Khan puts on AEW television?
Absolutely. It almost
had a door?
Barbershop. It almost had barbershop feel to it.
And Raven wisely wearing a white shirt so he could...
Right? Or like even when Kane and Big Show were going at it, I think it was Kane that hit back against the drywall and it looked like real... It cracked. It didn't fall apart. It cracked.
But they did go through it though.
They did.
Like
but they're big enough they should. They're big enough they should.
Yeah. I always kind of scratch my head with the finish of this match.
Yeah, this is where I come in and say I don't think they knew what to do with Raven. Because I understand, okay, we're going to throw him off the entrance ramp. No, entrance ramp.
I think it was more of a stage, but...
Oh, well, okay. Sorry.
They weren't on the ramp. They were on the stage going to the ramp.
Okay. My bad. But anyway, so they throw it. So let's see. Kane boots Big Show. Raven and Big Show fall. Hey, I will say it didn't go poof.
It didn't go poof.
It went crash, bang, bam.
Yeah. Then Kane did the running flying elbow into whatever that thing was that they fell into.
Whatever it was.
But here's my issue.
And then you see Raven throw a piece of something off of him.
Mm-hmm. Like, here's my issue, though. The referee was in no position to make a count.
You mean the side?
Slapping the side of the thing with dust flying over. He clearly couldn't see shoulders.
Mm-mm.
So I think when we meet Raven at the end of this month,
yes,
I dare you to go up and say, hey, you should not have lost that WrestleMania hardcore match because the referee couldn't see the pin.
You act like I won't.
Oh, I'm sure you will, but I just wonder if he'll remember.
That might be a bigger problem.
All right, so let's keep track of how many title changes we get. So right now we've got one because Kane won the hardcore championship.
Correct.
Which I think the next day, I think he lost it to Rhino, didn't he?
It was the hardcore championship. Nobody kept it long.
That's true.
I mean, come on, Pat Patterson had it.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss the evening gown match with Gerald Briscoe, are we?
No.
The less said about that, the better.
No, I don't want to talk. We'll save it for Paige show.
Save it for Paige show, yeah. All right, so what was the next match after the hardcore match?
One of your favorite wrestlers.
Was this Eddie and Test for the European Championship?
It sure was.
Okay, let's take a second to appreciate just how freaking good this match was.
Are you a testicle?
I am a fan of Test. I can't, as a respectable human being, I cannot call myself a testicle. But Eddie Guerrero is in my top 3 favorite wrestlers of all time.
I wrote,
especially heel Eddie.
In my notes, I put so underrated. Just both of them. So
I was gonna say, like, you can't disrespect Test.
No, and
he gets a lot of grief
because he's gone already. But
I don't. Mick Foley used to make fun of him incessantly in his books and all that. But I really enjoyed watching Test.
I did too. I wish they could have done more with him. Yeah, because and then you got to take in consideration this was pretty much the light sheet steel.
Pretty much, era. Yeah. It was heel radical Eddie, and
yes, because he had Saturn and Dan Malenko.
Dan.
Yep. I'm gonna give you that one.
Much underappreciated and unknown Dan Malenko.
Dean Malenko.
Yes. And also Perry's hat. The furry hat that Perry Saturn was wearing.
Damn furry hat. That he put on Eddie's head after he won it.
Jim Ross saying, I'm not one to talk about him not ridiculous headwear, but he was making fun of Perry Saturn's hat. But yeah, Eddie won. He got an assist from the Radicals. Dan came out and distracted Test, and Perry threw the belt to Eddie.
Okay. Do you have to make fun of me for that one?
A little bit. I promise not to tell Dean Malenko.
Don't do it in front of him.
I promise not to tell Dean Malenko you called him Dan Malenko on the spot show.
I appreciate that.
Like I said, I'm just hoping we get Dean on a good day.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. So this Eddie won the European title. He didn't hold it for very long because he dropped it to Matt Hardy like 3 or 4 weeks later.
Yeah, this is back when they played hot potato with belts.
A lot of hot potato. All right. Next match, Minders. This was in China and Ivory, was it?
Nope. Angle and Benoit.
Oh, Angle and Benoit. Clinic. Absolute wrestling clinic.
All I put it on this one was so good. But yeah, I just waited to see who was going to be the first one that decided, all right, this mat wrestling shit ain't work or stuff isn't working. Let's take care of this, and just clobbered the other one. And Paul didn't let me down.
And Paul put the exclamation point on there. It's like, oh, he teched him.
Yeah, exactly.
And this was, I think, I don't know that this was the first time they had a one-on-one match, but this led to the submission match, the 2 out of 3 match, the cage match that they had, all in the span of like 3 months.
Yeah.
And every match got better. And then, of course, my favorite match they ever had was 03 Rumble, WWE Championship.
Right.
But yeah, these two, and it sounds like a cliche, they never had a bad match.
Did you see that Mr. Doan was the ref of this match?
I did. Applied to Danville, Illinois, Jack Doan.
Yes.
Friend of the show.
He's friend of our friend show.
Friend of the shows. He's local. Yeah. So
true.
He doesn't do a lot of podcasts because he says he never remembers anything.
I can understand after seeing that match, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will make the comment that anytime I see Benoit do the flying headbutt.
Cringe?
Oh, I cringe every time. Or
that's me with the German suplex. That's me with the German suplexes.
I just cringe every time.
The guy lands on his head on that German suplex.
So many times.
Oh, yeah.
So it just makes me
On
cringe.
the other hand, Angle is pristine. Everything he does is flawless. Even the cheating.
Okay.
Angle did win by the aforementioned cheating, pulled the tights.
Exactly. After he had tapped out, but the ref didn't see it.
The referee didn't see it. And then backstage, Angle was giving a blustery, braggadocious promo and then got jumped from behind by Benoit.
Yeah.
But now this one goes on my list of underrated classics in WrestleMania history. Right up there with Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho from 19.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Because at least this card for this WrestleMania is so strong in my opinion, but that's just me.
Yep. All right.
Now you're to China and Ivory.
Okay, this one, number one, nobody in their right mind expected Ivory to win this match.
No.
Number two, I think this is the first time I ever saw China wear pink.
Probably. Or like the purpley pink.
Mm-hmm.
My hair.
This is China coming back from China came back from neck surgery to do this match.
Yeah, but it was
a squash. You say what?
It really was, and
it was Bundy and SD Jones level squash.
Yeah, it was. It
but
really
China
wasn't
played
that.
with her food a little bit.
She did. As I say, it really wasn't that great of a match.
I'm not one to say what a wrestler does or doesn't deserve, but I thought Ivory deserved better in this match. She's so good. She
is, and she didn't look like she was so good in this match.
No, although I did appreciate the Lilith Sternin reference from Jim Ross as a Cheers fan.
Oh, we're going to get lots more references here in a couple more matches when we get to probably one of my favorite matches on the card.
Yeah, this match, not only the shortest match, but also, for my money, the worst match on the show.
Yeah, this is probably the least best match on the card.
I just don't know why they put the women's title on China, of all people. Because then she left with it.
Money?
Yeah, but they didn't have any women on the roster that could put up a fight with her. She was so big and strong and everything. And then she wound up leaving with the belt, and we didn't get it back until Survivor Series.
Well, I mean, what do you do?
Was it a fait accompli to China to keep her happy? Because she might have been a little on the disgruntled side.
Might have been. I don't know though, but those shots to the neck that Ivory kept throwing.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. I've seen better shots thrown on AEW.
She needed a 2x4 full of nails.
Yeah, no, she didn't. No, she didn't.
The Toronto toothbrush, as our friends call it.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
No.
Let's not do that at all.
No, we don't need to do that. Hey, at what point did they show the vignette of them at the Army base?
That was right before this one, but there was like a couple vignettes.
Yeah, because I think they showed fan access too. But, but yeah, they basically everybody on the roster from Texas went to this Army base, and Trish, and
Trish. Well, they had to put Trish in there. I mean, they needed more eye candy.
Yeah,
right.
I think Lita was there, but yeah, a nice feel-good moment with the troops, which they were always big on in WWF back then.
Yeah, they always tried to.
Still are, but
you always tried. You gotta keep all the guys happy.
Well, yeah. So anyway, what's the next match we've got, Menders?
Oh,
Dead Air.
Shut up!
Can't be Dead Air. Makes suspense.
You know what? How about we will hear about that after we hear a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Venom Energy. We've all been there. We've hit that midday slump, and we need a little bit of a push to get us through the rest of the day. What better option to give you a pick-me-up than one of the wonderful Venom Energy flavors? Venom is what gets MadBash through those long show days, and we know it can do the same for you. I'm going to sweeten the pot here a bit, too. Come to our merch table at any show we're on, and with the purchase of a sticker or magnet, you get a Venom Energy drink on us. While supplies last, of course, so be quick about it. We'd like to thank Venom again for sponsoring this episode. Consume responsibly, not recommended for children under 18, pregnant women, or people sensitive to caffeine. All right, we are back. And
I left you in suspense on what the match was.
You did, and I don't think we're even halfway through this show yet. Match-wise.
We're close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so we're right around halfway through.
Right at halfway.
All right, Mindrox, the suspense is killing me. What is next?
Oh, McMahon versus McMahon.
Oh, the street fight.
Yes.
The most cringy build-up to a match.
Yeah.
And also one that hits you where you live, because there was a time when you yearned for your Linda McMahon moment.
I did.
You never got.
Never got it.
And it's
never
it
did get
still
my Linda
bothers
McMahon
you.
moment. It does. Irritates me.
So just a few nuggets to go along with this match. There were many of the mid-card legends of WCW in the Skybox that Shane had made a point to introduce, because he was the owner of WCW at this point.
Yeah, a lot of mid-carders.
Mm-hmm. I think Sean Stasiak was up there, Hugh Morris, Chavo, Lance Storm, I think, was there. Mick Foley's the referee in this match.
I would say you got to set this up, because you have.
Oh yeah,
you have Trish in the back with Linda.
Right, Stephanie is in Vince's corner
with the daddy's girl
the
jumpsuit, which is just cringy.
Mm-hmm. Paul's yelling patricide during this match when Shane's whipping Vince with a kendo stick. It's off-putting when you see a guy give his kid a black eye on live pay-per-view.
Right?
I mean, I know Shane was like 30, but still.
Or his sister slap him so hard that his cheek starts to swell.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Stephanie worked stiff with those slaps.
Oh, yeah, she did. She did. I think she took out some serious anger.
I think so. Or she was trying really hard to make it look good.
Well, success.
Brother, I say.
Brother.
So,
and who could have been better for this match? I mean, you got not the match. Who better could you have gotten for a ref in this match?
Yeah, because he wasn't going to be intimidated by Vince in this match.
Foley wasn't going to be intimidated by anybody.
He did take he kind of let his bias show at the end of the match, but
he did.
Maybe Vince had it coming, hitting him with the chair and everything.
You think?
Maybe.
This
clue. Was the first time I remember Shane doing the elbow drop to the table. Mm-hmm. He'd done some things off, like he did the thing with Blackman at SummerSlam off the scaffolding when he did the big swan dive. He did I think he did a shooting star press at one point, or corkscrew. He was playing with some things off the ropes. Was
this what he did his first coast to coast too?
Yes, that was the finish of the match after the Linda McMahon moment that we talked about.
Yeah, where she stands up and kicks Vince in the nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Someone to do that to somebody.
Yeah. I suppose we should mention the giant cat fight, Stephanie and Trish.
ECW cat fights are better.
Yeah, because Joey Styles is yelling cat fight during the cat fight.
Exactly.
This time you got Jim Ross feigning like haughty derision. It's like, this is unnecessary.
Exactly.
But yeah, Shane, this is the first time that we saw Van Terminator on WWF. Of course, Van Dam would do it with the chair, and he'd do a springboard. This time, Shane would just climb the ropes and do it onto a trash can.
Yes.
Nobody seemed to not enjoy seeing Vince get drop kicked in the face with a steel chair or a trash can from the top rope.
Well, I mean, even 24 years ago, we knew he was a prick.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. And this would play, of course, it would lead to the invasion angle, but it also led to the last man standing match with the Big Show at Backlash for Shane.
Mm-hmm.
Which I actually went back and watched that not too long ago. It's pretty good for what it is.
Hey, I was going to say, you got to give Shane some props. You got to give, I mean, honestly, as much as I hate to admit it, you have to give Vince and Shane some props in this. I mean, neither one of them were actual wrestlers. So That's for true. Them to pull out a match that was like this, that made sense, to an extent,
Yeah.
and
although I do
forwarded
think
the
they
story.
trained with. I think they did train with Dr. Tom at the warehouse, though.
Okay, but still, though,
But
I'm
yeah,
just saying,
they're not. They're not like they're businessmen.
They aren't running the ropes every week like everybody else
on television.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Shane would be in there bumping with the boys like before the show when everybody warms up and does the thing. But you never know.
Let's see. Our favorite match is next. My favorite match is next.
Your favorite match is that? It's not the ladder match.
Yes, it is.
TLC. Okay, this match, I say, stole the show at WrestleMania.
I agree. It's my favorite match of this paper.
And I generally hate ladder matches.
You know what, though? Here's the difference. This is what I think it is. This was one of the first big ladder matches that you got to see in WWF. Like,
I think
with
this
tag
might
teams.
be
With
number.
tag teams.
I would say this is number 4. We had Edge and Christian against the Hardys in No Mercy '99, which was the first one. Then you got the Triangle Ladder match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the TLC one, and then this is TLC 2.
Right. So you got 4, but still,
so they hadn't run out of spots yet.
Exactly. This was still early, and they hadn't explored what all they could really do yet.
Mm-hmm.
And they came up with some doozies.
Doozies is a good word for it. I mean, that friggin' spear from Edge to Jeff off the ladder.
As Bubba's pulling Jeff away from him just to
get some momentum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I heard Edge like DDT'd himself when he did that.
Yeah, they were both knocked out cold.
Yeah. We got our first, I don't know about first appearances, but we got the first WrestleMania appearances of Spike Dudley and Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
And Alita came out, so it was essentially a 9-way or a 3-on-3 trios. There you go. That's what they call it. But
I found the word.
You found the word. Of course, we had to get the big swanton from Jeff off a ladder.
Onto Rhino and
on the people that weren't in the match.
Yeah. Rhino and Spike.
Paul got a little too excited when Lita took her shirt off.
Everybody did. It's fine.
That's true.
I guess when you look at it, yeah, that was one of the big things everybody was looking forward to. Like all the guys, anyway.
Well, it was the time, after all.
Right? This is when the bra and panties matches were going on, so.
Mm-hmm. But we didn't start getting pudding matches yet, I don't think.
Thank God. They could have just bypassed those altogether, in my opinion. But.
Right.
But you had Rhino helping out Christian to get up to unhook the belts.
Yeah, so Edge and Christian, I think that was number 7 for their tag team championships.
I think so. Although they, this was better. This one was better because they didn't try to stand on top of the tables this time.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that when it happened at WrestleMania 16, and I was just waiting for that table to break. I was like, don't do this.
At least they were smart and they stayed over where the ladders were at.
Mm-hmm. And also they were smart. They didn't show them getting down off the ladders. They went to a package.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed this TLC match. And then for some reason they decided to do TLC 3, a month later on SmackDown on free TV?
Yeah.
They made it a 4-way because Jericho and Benoit were the tag champs. But anyway, we'll save that for page show.
There you go. Do that.
All right. After this, I believe was the Gimmick Battle Royal Menders.
Yes.
We saw so many of our old favorites in the Gimmick Battle Royal.
There's a lot of them we're going to see at the end of this month, actually.
Yeah.
There's a few anyway.
Yeah. Do you have I'm gonna see if they have the list of everybody.
I have it. I have it.
Run it down for us there, Mindrox.
Because this is the way they all came out. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So we had the Bushwalk. Scratch that. Mean Gene was the first one to come out.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say you gotta start with at the top.
I stopped. Mean Gene came out, and then Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the Bushwhackers. Then it was Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Or the Drumster.
Yep. Sheiky Baby.
Yeah,
Iron
and
Sheik.
it took him 42 minutes to get to the ring.
Yeah, it was a good thing that this match was short because it was a while for him to get to the ring. When Earthquake came out,
Tenta.
Stop it, because
What?
There's something that happened that I paid attention to the commentary. That somebody said something and I caught it.
Can I guess?
Huh?
Was it when Mean Gene almost called him John Tenta?
Sure did. He's like, that's Earthquake.
At least he didn't call him Avalanche.
Right?
With a shark.
Ugh.
Can you imagine a WCW gimmick battle royal?
No.
Wildcat Willie be there?
No.
Anyway,
we had the Goon.
Oh, the Goon. Hey, I was listening to Jumping the Rail do their top 10 bad gimmicks. The first thing that I think I thought of was, where's the Goon on this list? And they did not disappoint.
Right. I mean, come on.
Gotta be.
Doink. Although I'm not sure which version of Doink this was.
I'm not sure who was playing Doink at this point.
I'm not sure who
it wasn't Ray
either.
Apollo. It might have been Steve Lombardi, because Brooklyn Brawler wasn't in this.
No.
So I think it might have been Lombardi.
Okay. Because the reason I say it's because Repo Man was later. He came out later.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala.
Kamala. Oh, speaking of, we didn't mention when Regal went into his office and that Kamala was on his desk with the picture of the Queen.
Yeah, trying to figure out who's this. Pretty lady, who dis?
Put the Queen down.
Put that Queen down. Kimchi.
Well, if Kamala's there, Kimchi's going to be there.
Well, and Harvey Whippleman.
Dr. Harvey Whippleman?
Sure, why not?
He'll be at the expo.
But he wasn't in the Battle Royal. He was just out there.
He was just managing, I guess.
Repo Man.
Repo.
One of our other favorite podcasts. The one, the only, Jim Cornette. James E. Cornette.
Yep, with tennis racket in tow.
Yes. Nikolai Volkov.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't sing.
Nope, they didn't have time.
No. Freebird
Michael Hayes.
Yep.
One Man Gang.
The One Man Gang. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with Akeem for the gimmick battle royal.
Well, they didn't.
If it was a gimmick Royal Rumble, he could have done both like Foley did.
He could have. Gooker.
Gobbledygooker, yeah. I wonder if it was still Hector Guerrero under the costume.
I have no idea. Tugboat. Hillbilly Jim.
You gotta have Hillbilly.
As long as he's not talking.
Well, talking's fine, just as long as he's not making a speech.
Yeah, let's not do that again. Brother Love. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Sergeant Slaughter.
Got it.
So there you go.
Yeah, and the match itself went, maybe 5 minutes?
Maybe. First one out was Repo Man.
Yes.
Second one out was Gooker. And the third one out was Uncle Fred, and he got taken out by Tenta.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, what the hell?
I think that was payback. That was payback from the 1993 Royal Rumble when Typhoon eliminated Earthquake.
Gotcha. So everybody basically goes out. You get down to, let me think. I think it was
Hillbilly,
Brother
Sarge,
Love,
and
Brother Love, Hillbilly, Sarge, and Sheiky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how did Brother Love last that long?
It was him and Cornette mostly fighting in the corner.
Yeah, they were hiding from everybody.
Exactly.
Which I think Corny may have mentioned.
Yeah. Brother, let's see. Hillbilly Jim goes out, or Brother Love. Okay, Brother Love. No, Hillbilly Jim takes out Brother Love. Sarge. No.
Sarge tried to put out Hillbilly, and Sheik eliminated both of them.
Right.
And of course, it should be pointed out the main reason that Sheiky won is because he could not take a bump.
Right.
He could not go down and get back up again. And he could not go over the top rope.
He couldn't go over the top rope.
Yeah, he never left his feet in this whole friggin' match.
Yes, he did. At the end, he does.
No, during the match he didn't. But when he
during the match, no.
Then Sarge
but
applied the gentlest and safest Cobra clutch I've ever seen in my life.
Right?
Just gently ushered Sheik to the ground.
Yeah, slowly dropped him to the ground. Slowly.
Yep.
And then that was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time.
So I said that TLC stole this show, but for my money, my favorite match on the show was the one after this, which is Taker and Triple H.
Yep.
With Motorhead.
Right? Good
so
old Lemmy. Wasn't it Lemmy?
It was Lemmy.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's only 2 matches left, right?
2 matches.
Taking Triple H. Taking Triple H, and then main event. Okay.
So but this match, number one, I love the build to this match. Just because it was
the Order of Protection.
The Order of Protection came at her up on the balcony.
Yeah.
It's like, let her down. He's like, Kane, set her down.
No, don't do that. And 25 feet. 25 feet.
It was kind of brilliant, though, that Taker would just send Kane after her instead of doing it himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
I didn't care to see Triple H demolish the motorcycle.
No.
That bike was so pretty.
Hopefully it was a stand-in. Actual bike isn't demolished.
Well, I would imagine that it would, they would have paid to fix it if it was Taker's personal vehicle.
Better.
I doubt it was. They probably just, if they did it like Eddie did it with his lowriders, they would just find somebody in whatever town they were in that they would rent one for Eddie's entrance.
Nah, gotcha.
But anyway, the match itself, though, it was not a no holds barred street fight, but they made it one, and they did it. And they did it logically.
Kyoto. Poor Kyoto.
Yeah, everybody thought Kyoto was dead because he went down like 5 minutes in the match and then didn't move for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Taker and Hunter fighting all over the place, go up on the tech area. I'm not going to say that they dropped Triple H on some crash pads on that choke slam, but they
dropped Triple H on some crash pads. Yeah, exactly. They dropped him on some crash pads.
And then Taker did the elbow off of the.
That was probably the one where you really noticed it more than anything, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just kind of went poof. But it didn't. What I did like about it was it might have came up around them a little bit, but it wasn't like it went, whoo, like the Blob. And
right.
So, yeah.
They had some cool stuff in the finish. Taker going for the last ride, but taking the sledgehammer to the forehead.
Oh, that sledgehammer to the back. The head or the back?
Head.
Oh.
But that's because he got busted open. He got color.
Oh, yeah.
And then, and I love the finish. This was the first time I saw them do the 10 punches into the last ride.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, I love that finish. That's, you can have your tombstones. That's my favorite finish that Taker did, was that big last ride, especially when he did to Nunzio. In his feet.
In his feet.
Because he could walk around with Nunzio up there.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that Taker was so good. This in my opinion, might not have been my best. This isn't maybe the best gimmick that Taker had.
It is for me.
Oh, I
prefer Biker Taker to Dead Man Taker. I know I'm the minority.
A little bit, but this wasn't my favorite. This wasn't my favorite rendition of Taker, but this was his moveset at this point was my favorite. I mean, come on, he came out to Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, is that an upgrade from Kid Rock?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, but
I think they're on the same plane.
Probably. This is my favorite version of Taker. This is my favorite version of Hunter in this.
Oh
match.
Yeah.
This is when Hunter, right before the quad injury, so he was in his prime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when you had sneaky Triple H, which I enjoy sneaky Triple H.
Mm-hmm. Say something.
Oh. Hey, what was the next match, Reb?
I believe the next match would be our main event for the WWF Championship: Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, and the match is okay. It was never going to be better than the build-up video before the match.
Right.
That was perfect. So well done.
Mm-hmm. But
I mean, The Rock was going to get booed because they're in Texas,
right?
So
because you knew Stone Cold was going to be the over baby face.
Stone Cold could run for governor of Texas and probably win.
Probably.
Of course, we know this match for being the one where Vince came out and Stone Cold sold his soul to Vince McMahon for the WWF Championship, which went over like a fart in church.
Sure did.
I
was so mad. I was so mad at Stone Cold. I was so mad.
I think I heard Austin say he had they gave him the option to, if he wanted to audible and just give Vince a stunner, but he didn't do it. He just stuck with it.
You know what? It would have been funny if he had done that. Like, if it would have went on the whole way it should. That at the end, when like Vince is like patting him on the back,
yeah,
and all
they do
that
the
stuff.
toast that are drinking the beer, and then
and then he stunner him.
Yeah, so Stone Cold still got the belt. He wouldn't have minded babyface or heel hitting The Rock with a chair a bunch of times.
No.
But yeah,
Can we bring him back so he can hit Rock with a chair now? Please?
Possibly. I mean, we're almost to WrestleMania, and the options are limitless, it seems, for how they could book this main event.
That seems like it.
Yeah. So that was the end of the show. Although JR reacting to Stone Cold and Vince was priceless.
I love JR's reaction.
You heard a grown man's heart break.
Right?
And it's like you look at Cena's heel turn now, and I know I compare that more to Andre turning on Hogan, but you go to Cena's promo on Raw, and the little kid that he singled out, I feel like that was Jim Ross at WrestleMania 17.
Right?
If that makes any sense.
Oh, it makes complete and total sense. I know Michael Cole tried to do it with the whole Cena thing, but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah. I'm trying to see how long this show was, but I'm not.
3 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's long for a WrestleMania, but it felt like it didn't go that long.
To me, it didn't feel long, and it's nothing against. It was just that's what the matches needed.
Yeah.
Until basically the last 2 matches. That's when I felt like it got real long.
Yeah. Well,
and I think
those were the 2 matches they were building up the most.
Right, as they should be.
I mean, no shit. It's the last 2 matches on the card. Those are the most important matches, but
yeah, but again, until like after it gets past the gimmick battle royal, that's about where I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen the rest of this. So,
Oof. All right. Well, that covers our WrestleMania 17 flashback.
Hey, don't we have some like plugs?
Yeah, we got some dates and plug skis for everybody. April 13th, MadBash Wrestling and New Version Wrestling present Level 4 live in Danville, and that's going to be a good one. We know a lot of the folks on those shows.
There are a lot of them.
We got friends there.
Few friends. Let's see. Think Exact Abstract is supposed to be there.
Of course, Colby Jack, the champ, going to be there.
Let me.
So at least it's not dead air when you're kind of singing to yourself when you're looking for this stuff.
Well, sometimes I have to. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But I guess you're right, though. It's better than when I absolutely do nothing, so I do most of the time.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I thought they had some announcements. Here we go. Okay, so yes, this is going to be April 13th, 2015. 36 College Street, Danville, Illinois, Rabbit Town Trade Center. Doors at 6 p.m. First bell at 7 p.m.
And Rabbit Town's a nice, cozy venue for a wrestling show.
So they're having the MBW Championship match. Clayton Clark versus Kendall Fire.
Mr. Broadway.
Mr. Broadway. Oh, boy. Singles match. Kid Riot versus Rico Jones.
I like that Kid Riot.
I like that Kid Riot. Let's see. Stetson Winners versus Kota Camillo.
Okay.
Hopefully I said his name right. If not, I apologize.
Well, it's not the first name you've flubbed on this show, Dan Malenko.
Christopher Gates versus Adam Black. And then the ones that are brought by us, we've got Colby Jack, our champ, versus Jason Levi. That's going to be a damn good match.
Jason Levi, he don't mess around.
He don't mess around. But neither does Colby Jack, so no? I'm excited to see this one. Singles match, we got Chris O'Brien versus Dalton Davis, the Bud Light Brawler.
Nice. And of course, Chris O'Brien from Trauma Unit.
Yes. Oliver Kane versus Exact Abstract is the other one on the card so far.
All right. And that, of course, is April 13th in Danville, which is a couple weeks away. So,
yep.
So make sure you go check that out. Of course, don't forget All Vermilion Wrestling when they pop up in the Danville area also. I think that's about everything we got to cover on this episode, Mindrox. So, just a real quick plug. Don't forget to check out our social media. Go Facebook, MadBash Studios, Instagram at MadBash Studios. Of course, our Patreon. If you're checking out here, you know where it's at. You can get Spot Show on Apple Podcasts. You can get MadBash Studios on TikTok, X at MadBash Studios. So you can catch MadBash just about anywhere. So make sure you do that. Give us a follow. And I guess most importantly, Mindrox, we'll see y'all down the road on some form of content.